Hey, what's up? This is Gary from Raz Rentals. This is episode part 3 of my Krang Marathon, so go back and check out episodes 1 and 2, where you can watch my reviews on the 1989 Krang and his Bubble Walker, and the 1991 Krang in the original Android Body toy. He still beats this one in size. And, in my Krang Bubble Walker review, you can listen about how Krang was inspired from the Mirage comic Utroms, and I kind of just talk about what crossed over from the original Mirage series into the actual Fred Wolf series. So it's been 33 years since Krang's Android Body was introduced in the Fred Wolf episode Shredder and Splintered. Finally, after all this time, we get a figure that's cartoon accurate. The box for this guy looks great. I mean, look at that cover. It looks amazing. You know, they're really trying to go for that like airbrushed or painted look. The paint in here has a very nice texture, so it appears that it was painted on paper, but I'm sure it was probably Photoshop. But like the style-wise, it looks really good. It matches pretty well. And at the top of the box here, it says Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Wrath of Krang.
Wasn't that the name of a movie?
I don't believe I saw it.
How about you, Egon?
I'm sorry, Michelangelo. I'm terrified beyond the capacity for rational thought. I really like how the text here, they did a good job of matching the text on the original VHS tapes. And I like how NECA down here is written just like FHE on the original tapes as well. If you turn it to the side, you can see that they did a good job of copying the same layout. I like how even on here you have like the print lines from the old books when you used to learn how to handwrite. Just like FHE, it's got that for the NECA. The only thing is NECA is written a lot more sloppy. This kid needs to practice more. You have Volume 2 written on the bottom, because of course Metalhead was Volume 1. On the top here, they didn't put the Wrath of Krang. That's the only difference. On the side here, same thing as the other side. Finally, on the back, they have another really nice painting or picture of Krang here attacking the turtles. And if you ever saw the episode Shredder and Splintered, this probably brings a lot of memories back for you. I think it's the only time in the original cartoon where Krang actually grows in size. Other than that, he always stayed, his normal size. And, just seeing the turtles fly away on their blimp and, him angrily trying to get them brings back a lot of memories of that episode. Down here, you got a little explanation of Krang, just like, you have the tape explanation. Brains plus brawn make a calamitous combination in Krang's evil android body. Blah, 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 blah. Very nice. Over here, you got some really cool action shots of Krang and his body. I like that here they show Krang in the Bubble Walker, because I kind of like the face on the Bubble Walker Krang better than the Krang that's in this box. So I kind of want to put that original Krang inside the body and put the frowny face here in the Bubble Walker. And you got a picture of Baby Shredder. Now for a size comparison of this, how big this box is. And this box is a pain. It's hard to shoot it all at once because it's so tall. It's like 2 inches taller than the Mighty Metalhead box. Same width, but taller. The Metalhead figure's box is deeper. When you open this up, on the left here, you got a really nice shot of Krang just standing there, ready to cause some evil deeds. In the background, you have that really nice NECA display that they have of the Technodrome. I really hope that they mass-produce that. I didn't buy the city or the building display, but if they put out the Technodrome, I would buy that, definitely. Okay, over here, you have this huge window, and you can see Krang's body. You can see the little Krang. You can see Baby Shredder. You can see his little bath cap here. You can see all these weapons and hands. You know, this guy's packed with a ton of accessories, and that's awesome. Like, it's no wonder that this figure was $35 plus tax. And he is a Target exclusive. And I only found this guy because I bugged the crap out of the Target guys when I go in there and ask them if they can look in the back to see if they have any other figures. Now, one minor nitpick to begin with, and I don't want to be a negative Nelly, but here's the deal. If you look inside of this box here, there is a piece of paint floating around. I don't know if you can see that. That paint comes from the joints, because for whatever reason, NECA paints all the their pin joints and stuff like that instead of casting it into the same color plastic as the body. And as soon as you start to move the joints, that plastic starts to shed. So I haven't opened this yet. I haven't moved them, but apparently there's already some wearing of the paint on those joints. So when I opened this toy up, I realized that there was something missing. Can you see it? Do you know what it is? Well, it's one of these guns. Look at this. There's a space here, but no extra gun. And, you know, that's pretty disappointing. I sent a couple emails. Well, I sent one message to NECA on Facebook, but it's January 1st on Friday, so I imagine that they probably won't get back to me until Monday the 4th. So, cross your fingers. I mean, it's not like I can just take this down to my nearest plutonium station, Krang store, and exchange it for another Krang. Like, these are hard to find. You're like, just finding this one was a pain. So, hopefully, they'll send me a replacement. I don't know how NECA is with that kind of stuff. I had a pretty good interaction earlier in the year with Super 7. My Lion-O Snarling head had a huge mark on it, and I contacted them, and I had a replacement head within like 5 days. It was crazy. So, here's crossing my fingers that NECA comes through. There he is, the mighty Krang. You know, I love this thing. This is great. Like, how could you not look at this and think it's amazing? Like, it's such a weird and awesome concept that Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird came up with. And, you know, obviously they took some liberties with the Fred Wolf series and made it more of like a fat, bald guy than the original, like, exoskeleton costume that the Utroms wore. But, you know, in general, I think it's pretty cool. You know, in the cartoon, Krang is the evil warlord from Dimension X. Somehow he and Shredder became best friends in evil for life, and since Krang lacks physical strength, the Shredder built this body for him. This suit first appeared in the Season 1 episode, Shredder and Splintered. I really like this sculpt, but I don't think it's perfect. I think that some of the proportions are a little off. I think that, in general, he should be like a little wider or bulkier, especially his legs. Like, look at these shots from the cartoon. It's like they got the general idea of him correct. Same thing with Bebop and Rocksteady. There's just a certain width that is missing from these characters. You know, they just need to be a little bit bulkier. I think his legs look a little too skinny. Maybe his upper torso is a little too long. But in general, it's still really cool. It's pretty awesome to finally get this guy in hand. Because of this guy's massive size, it's kind of hard to you know, shoot him all at once. So, you know, if you look at him dead on, he's got this cool face. And, like, when you see this, doesn't this make you imagine the cartoon when he's like, bah, bah. Like, that's all I can think of. But, you know, as usual, they did a really nice job with the lines. There's some sloppy spots here with the ink lines, like there on the triangle. There are spots, like here, this is what I was talking about in the box. Like, that was painted, and that paint wore down. Over here, it's not as bad. The paint is, like, kind of in a spot where it's not getting rubbed, but you still have, like, a space there where you can see the old paint. On the back, just like all the other Toon figures, you have the bright paint on the front, and the back side is dark, like it's cell painted. What was interesting is that I never really realized that they have this little handle on the back of him, and then I was watching Shredder and Splintered, and I was like, well, there's a weird handle there I never noticed. I wonder if that's going to actually be on the toy. And here it is. He also has an exhaust out of his butt. Did you ever think about that? You got these cool vents on his back. You know, it's just weird looking. He's got like suspenders connected to his shoulder pads. And he's got his little tiny legs. But the paint is very nice. You know, you have where the skin is supposed to connect to the, you know, the backside. It's supposed to be like a stitch line. It looks all good on here. When he came in the package, he didn't have the fork sticking out of the top of his head. It came with 2 of them, but I will talk about that more in the accessories. But overall, sculpt-wise, I really like him. I think, you know, it's really nice. The detail looks good. He looks pretty much like he looked in the cartoon, except for, like I said, he should be a little wider, maybe rounder. I always wondered, what are these cuts here? Are these vents too? It's like such a weird thing right in the middle of his chest. But it's still pretty neat. So, when it comes to articulation, this guy has some pretty decent points. He doesn't have as much articulation as a lot of other figures. His head moves really well. And I gotta say right off the bat here that for the past couple of Toon releases, the 2 Triceraton guys, the Triceraton infantrymen, and the Stone Soldiers, the Rock Soldiers, everything since then, the joints have been moving like great. Like right out of the package, you know, his arm, it's not too stiff. It moves very freely, but not too loose so that it's not just like flopping all over the place. You get a good rotation here with his head. You can look down, you can look up. He's got rotation in the shoulder, and he can rotate this direction. The arm, the shoulder pads here are soft, so it'll bump into that, but I mean, that's just pretty much as far as you would want to go anyways. He has a swivel in his elbow here, and he has a hinge in the elbow, and the hands rotate around. And they have a hinge too. And obviously, he has like a bunch of hands he can exchange out, so you can easily pop these out of place and pop them back in for the accessories. His legs have the usual, or it's like the double, like kind of hinged hips here, where the major joint is like on a ball, so you can bend that around. But then you also have a cut here in the hip, so you can twist it around on that. But whenever I try to twist it, it just twists around the ball, so, you know, it's there, but I can never really get it to work properly. He's got double jointed knees, and they work very good. And he's got a hinge in his ankle and ankle rockers, although these are, I think, I don't know, they seem a little stiff, so I don't want to push. That's the only thing. I didn't think it was that bad when I had him out, but there you go. That's all the movement he's got. Oh yeah, he also can twist here in the waist, but you know, you can only get so far before you hit the actual rubber of his giant red diaper. And the way I've been opening him up is I've been grabbing it like this and kind of pulling it up on the opposite side. Here, let's see. How was I doing it? Oh great, now I can't get him to do it. Give me a second. Alright, this is the best way I could figure it out. you have like 3 tabs here. You have a tab right in here, you have a tab on this side, and a tab on this side. And you pretty much got to like kind of pop this one out a little bit as you're pulling it. The one in the middle doesn't hold too hard, so you shouldn't have too much of a problem. It's just one of those things where you have to feel like you got to be careful because you don't know if this will break, especially like this thin plastic here around the middle. That seems like that could be a very touchy spot and could easily break. If you look inside, look how cool it looks. It has these little buttons here. It has these cool little joysticks for Krang to hold onto and control the body with. I like how it has this little circle here and it's got this nice little texture or, you know, design. He has some little knobs on the side and some little buttons and stuff like that on this side. You know, the inside of this thing is actually pretty detailed, but you know, they couldn't animate that all the time. So whenever they would, you know, they only drew it really detailed. I can only think in this one shot here. And then after that, they kind of just drew it like a couple lines in there for Krang to be sitting in. This is the new Krang figure that comes with this Android body. I think he looks really cool. I think he's nice, but as I said before, I kind of prefer this angry or yelling looking head. So, but let's see. The paint is really nice. One of the biggest difference with this Krang is this hole in the bottom of him is a lot longer. If you look at the original Krang, come on, get out of there. There we go. He has a very small hole. It's not very deep. The color is a little different too. Like this one's a lot brighter. This is the Krang from the CD or the SDCC set or whatever. So he's a little different. It's like I prefer the look of this face, but if you look at the actual like proportion of this head, it looks a lot rounder. I think this head actually might be better done than this one. I just like the expression better on this. Now, like this one's hands, they're obviously like, you wouldn't use these hands inside the body, so these hands are actually different. They're actually made to fit around the controllers. And he looks really good. So all you do is pop him in there. And before I put him in there, I will show you that. I'll have to check if the arms actually fit. But his body can sit on this hole. See? Stays in place. I guess the trickiest thing here is getting his arms actually around those joysticks at the same time. These are ball jointed arms, so you can twist them or, you know, rotate them. That's all good. Oh my gosh, I almost got it. All right. There you go. He is right in there. I'll get you. I can't do a Krang voice. I'm not even going to try it. So, you got your Krang in there, and you just pop the top right back on. One of the nicest things, too, I do want to point out really quick, is that at least this part of the body is not painted. You know, none of the cell shading is here. So you won't have any paint chipping away here. Hooray for that. Come on, get the hell in there. Nope. There we go. Sometimes you just gotta, like, you know, bend those tabs out a little bit. I do want to point out, too, that the knees are completely painted. So, because the knees are completely painted, mine has some paint wear right here at the top. It doesn't hide at all. I don't know what happened. It must have rubbed off from the plastic in the case. Do you want to know what's really exciting for me about this guy? Is that lots of times I make these videos for these NECA figures and I spend a lot of time talking about the reuse of parts. You know, from Bebop all the way up to the Triceratons. But this guy has no reusable parts. His arms are brand new. His hands are brand new. His head is new. His chest here. I'm pretty sure his pelvis under here, who knows, probably brand new. His legs are all brand new. His knees, his feet. Even the Krang in here is brand new. It's not just a new face on the same old sculpt that we got before. It's all pretty brand spanking new. That's pretty exciting. Especially since most of the times I'm like going over and being like, you know, well, the Triceraton is made of this piece from Leatherhead, this piece from Bebop and Rocksteady. You know, Slash is a remake of the Turtles and so on. And Shredder has a bunch of parts on them from the Foot Soldiers. No, this guy really gets to me, man. He's pretty amazing. So, for accessories, let's start from the top and work our way down. First, you have the fork for the top of his head. Now, originally I thought that, you know, everybody kept on saying about how they packaged two in here because, you know, maybe you'd lose one or you could break it and you'd have a replacement. But these are two different colors. One is a darker gray than the other one. So maybe in the cartoon you have sometimes in episodes it's darker than the other. And maybe they were like, yeah, we'll try to go above and beyond and give everybody a darker fork. I don't know, but I'm going to put the darker one on there. Man. Come on, man. Don't embarrass me. Stay up. This guy comes with a ton of hands. First, he has... These come on in the box. These open hands. You know, to make it look like he's either trying to grab at somebody or... You know, they're very expressive hands. You could try to make it look like he's... You know, big and imposing next to the guys. And like I said, to me, he will always be a duh kind of Krang Android Body. Up next, Krang comes with these cool grabby hands. Now, you can't grab the turtles by the neck, but you can grab them by the wrist or the bicep or the leg. And, you know, it does a really good job of holding them in place. And you can, once you find the balance of the Krang toy, he does a really good job of holding them up. And you don't really need any support from the back. And, you know, it's always really cool just having that kind of option with your enemy or whatever. Just having this giant hulking figure holding the little guys, you know, making very light of their attack. Finally, he comes with a set of fists. But the thing is with Krang here, he doesn't really have the reach nor the ability to pose him to really make it look like he's throwing a punch. So, you know, what are you going to do with that? Also, these hands, because they're not like an actual fist, you know, maybe they weren't supposed to be fists. They look more like tighter grip hands. So, I don't know if you're supposed to put like a gun or something in there or what. But, I mean, Krang wouldn't use his fists anyway to fight the turtles when he could just turn his hands into a set of ball and chains. Now, I like these a lot. This is cool. Like, now you, like, this is what I'm talking about in a lot of some other videos I've made, where, you know, the NECA line is doing such a great job of getting down to the personalities of all these characters and giving you such, like, you see that red dot I had on my finger? That's from the, these are all painted joints, again, where the paint rubs off. But NECA has reached a point now where you're getting into all these little crazy, weird little parts and pieces that, you know, you just don't usually see in a lot of lines. A lot of people just give you bare minimum. And NECA is doing a really good job of giving you lots of really cool things. These are very nicely painted. They're nice and heavy. They don't feel cheap at all. This chain, I don't know if it's plastic. It feels kind of metal. It's very nice. I like it a lot. The only thing is that when you have weapons like this with chains is that you have to, you know, try to do something like this where the chain or the ball is, you know, resting on something. Or I guess you could possibly put a wire through that, but it's not the easiest thing in the world. Otherwise, you could just set them up, you know, like the turtles are getting ready to confront him. And he's pulled out his ball and chains.
I don't think this is such a good idea, Raphael.
Yeah. Now, like I said, he was supposed to come with 2 guns, but all I got is this one. So I will say that this gun does look really cool. And you know, it's perfect for whenever Krang's trying to shoot his enemies at a long distance. Bzzz, or a short distance. He also comes with 1 axe. And you know, this is good for bladed fights or whatever. The only tricky thing is that because he has such a short arm span, you kind of have to try a little bit to line it up if you want to have him battle Leo. And finally, he's got this cool saw, and I really like this. This is possibly my favorite weapon out of the bunch. You know, I like how the way it's built here, it looks like it kind of built its way out of his arm. You know, like these pieces look like they fit together like a Tetris game. And, you know, and like I said before, this is tricky trying to shoot him standing next to the turtles because he is so big compared to the turtles. And, like, pretty much Krang is at eye level with the Ninja Turtles. And the rest of this guy's body is just, you know, towering over them. There are only 2 accessories that I thought maybe he could have come with. But, you know, he didn't. And I'm not going to complain because I think all the stuff he came with looks pretty great. The first thing is the scissor hands. And the second thing is an extra set of arms, you know, for the wings. But, you know, how would they do that? It'd be pretty difficult. Maybe they'll eventually give us a flying Krang figure in the future. Here's some accessories that really take this Krang above and beyond all the other figures. First, you have this set of blueprints here. And the only thing I can really read here is up in the top corner. It says Krang's Android Body. And you can see the little molecular amplification device, I think it's called, here. That's supposed to go in his shoulder. Oh, come on. There we go. Inside of here, you also have the blueprints to the Knucklehead. Is this a hint? Will NECA put out a Knucklehead figure? That would be awesome. Now, if you don't know what the Knucklehead is, the Knucklehead was a vehicle that the foot soldiers could ride way back in the original toy line. This is the Knucklehead. It comes on this string here, so your foot soldier can, you know... Oh, the string is kind of a weird spot, but you pretty much put it over the enemy. Didn't work. Come on. Basically, you're supposed to catch a guy with this thing. I'm pushing down on the wrong end. That's it, I think. Oh, God. Whatever. Okay, this button pushes up and it grabs the enemy. The Knucklehead also showed up on the cartoon in episode Enter the Fly during season 2, which was the first appearance of Baxter as the Fly. And, if you read the old Archie comics, it also appeared in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures number 9. Strangely enough, you get this very nice towel here. And look, it comes with some silica gel. Keep it nice and dry so it doesn't get all weird. It's a very long towel, but Krang is a very tall guy. And you get Krang's shower cap. And you get his soap on a rope. Now, if you don't know why Krang would come with this, there's one episode of the Ninja Turtles. It's in season 2, I believe, called Splinter No More, I think. Basically, the gist of it is Splinter turns back into Hamato Yoshi. And at some point in that episode, Shredder calls Krang on his, you know, telecom or whatever, and Krang answers the phone right out of the shower. You know, Shredder interrupted his shower time, and this is what we got. You know, it's just hilarious. Like, out of everything you could have given this guy, they gave him his shower set, it's just really funny. You know, it adds a lot of personality to this line. A lot of deep cuts here, you know. And I think it's hilarious. Who's going to post this guy like this on their shelves? Probably not a lot of people, but it's just awesome having this option. And in order to get the shower cap on top, you have to remove the fork. Put the shower cap on top and then stick the fork back in the hole as best as you can. Very awesome. And finally, we have Baby Shredder. Now, this is pretty hilarious. This thing doesn't have much articulation. His head moves, his arms move, and his legs rotate. It's just another one of those funny things. It only happened in one episode. It happened in season 3, the Leatherhead episode. And you know, it's pretty cool. Let's see here. You know, his eyebrows are a little crooked, but maybe that's why Shredder's angry all the time. You know, I was looking at this thing, and I was wondering, you know, does this open up a few questions about the, you know, the anger Orokusaki has against Hamato Yoshi? Picture it. Hamato Yoshi and Orokusaki both want to be in charge of the Foot Clan, I guess. Possibly. But maybe they told Shredder, you can never be the leader of the Foot. Why is that? Well, I'll tell you. Because Shredder only has 4 toes on both of his feet, and maybe Hamato Yoshi had 5 toes on his feet. He's got 5 fingers, but he only has 4 toes. And the Turtles cartoon is not a cartoon that, you know, did the usual cartoon thing of giving everybody 4 fingers and 4 toes. No, everybody usually has 5 fingers. So why did they give the Shredder 4 toes? And it's not just this toy. It's not like NECA was cheapening out. Here, look. In the cartoon, he's got 5 fingers and 4 toes. So that could be another reason why the Shredder is so angry and wants to destroy the world. You could never lead the Foot with your disfigured foot and the other disfigured foot. Alright, so this episode is getting extremely long, but there's a couple things I wanted to hit on real quick. First, here he is next to the original Playmates Krang Android Body. Obviously, the Krang Android Body added a bunch of details because it wasn't a cartoon, so they could add all these extra stitches and plates and stickers and all that kind of stuff. So, you can't really get a good shot of these two. They're so huge. Both of them are gigantic. If you stand both of these next to, you know, the NECA Toon Turtle, they're huge. But, you know, both very cool. Both different in their own way. But, you know, if you think about it, as I said in the Krang Android Body from 1991 review, this came first. This design came first, and this came, you know, this is an embellishment of this original design. If you want to see how the new Krang looks in the Bubble Walker, all you gotta do is easily pop off the arms. And if I were you, I'd keep track of which arm goes to which side. And I'm going to do a quick shot here so you can see how the old one filled up this Bubble Walker and how this new one fills up the Bubble Walker. I think this new head actually fits this a lot better. It takes up a lot more space, that's for sure. The only thing I really got to say about it is that when you're putting this new head into the body, if you try to go straight down, it doesn't go in that way. So you actually have to tilt the head down like this, and then you're able to slip it in there. Like I said, you go straight down, you're going to get caught. You're not going to get it. So you just got to angle it down. Easy peasy. If you want to, you can put this new Krang inside your old Android body. And I saw online that people could put this guy in here, but I wouldn't I don't like the idea of it because his hands stick out so far. You would have to really bend them to fit them in there. But the hole on the bottom of the original toy Krang does fit around that little nub inside or whatever. It looks like it's the same exact circumference. And heck, if you even wanted to, you can stick them in like Krang's little space here in the Technodrome. See, the original one doesn't really go down that far. That's good, right? You know, this looks really awesome. Like, it's so great finally having the 4 main villains from the show all next to each other. I mean, think about it. These guys, Krang in his android body suit, is pretty much... You saw them in almost every single episode, and now you finally have Krang in the android outfit, you know, ready for battle. And, you know, every single time they release a new action figure, they make these turtles, like, more and more tiny. At the moment, Krang is the tallest figure we have in the whole series. Earlier in the year, we had Metalhead. He took over. And then Granitor showed up. And he was the next tallest. And then you had Zorak? Zorak came out and he was taller than Granitor. But look at that. Krang in the back there. He is the tallest of all. And unfortunately for Krang, he only has a short period to reign as the champion because next year we're getting a Chrome Dome figure, and from what I've seen of pictures of him, he's even taller than Krang, which is crazy. If you're like me and you've been trying to collect as much Ninja Turtles as you possibly can, and you know, you might want to mix and match on your shelf, here's Krang next to Raphael from Super 7's Ultimates line. I said before that I think the Shredder mixes in really well with him despite having the ink lines. I still think that they look compatible. And I think that this Krang looks really nice next to him too. I think they fit in together really well. Raphael doesn't have a chance here. I mean, there's obviously more detail on the Super 7 action figure, but I think you can get away mixing these guys on your shelf with them. And just for the sake of it, you have the foot soldier next to Krang. And, I mean, it sort of works. It's probably not as nice as the Raphael. There's something a little more stylistic about the original foot soldiers. I think that fits in pretty nice too. If it wasn't for that missing gun, I would say that this guy is almost perfect. You know, I couldn't be happier with this figure, except for that missing gun. And, you know, right now I'm on the lookout for Splinter and Baxter, and I can't wait to see what else comes out this year. This is great, you know, it's like, with this Krang Android Body, as I said before, you finally kind of really have the full set of characters, other than Splinter. But he's coming, and I can't wait. So thanks for watching. Let me know what you think. And like I said, check out those other Krang videos I made if you want to know more about Krang, the Utroms, and some Mirage Comics stuff. Talk to you later.